J.C. Newman Cigar Studios in Boston, Massachusetts. Welcome to the Smokin Tabacco Show with your hosts, Matt Tobacco and Smokin Nicole.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Smokin Tabacco Show after a week off. My name is Matt Tobacco from SmokinTobacco.com, and I am joined by my good friend, Mr. William Cooper of Cigar Coop. That's right, this isn't Spare Notes. This is Smokin Tabacco Show. I know what you're thinking. There's a little bit of confusion here. It's Thursday night. It's not Saturday. Why is Coop here? Well, let's see. The staff has been very busy, and so, you know, I called on my good friend Coop, and I said, hey, listen, you want to fill in? And he was gracious enough to be here tonight. He has his own show later on, but he decided to be here with us. We have two great guests with us tonight. We have Raul and Christian from CLE. Interesting show because last time we were here, it was 2 weeks ago with Tom Lazuka of Asylum CLE. So that was our Asylum show. This is going to be our CLE show. But before we get going, gentlemen, welcome. But, Christian, I have a message to deliver to you, and I want to give it to you now before I forget, because I promised Tom that I would do this. And because he made sure he told me 3 times, so I have to do this so I can say I did it. He said to tell Christian I was right. That's all he wanted me to say. Tell Christian I was right.
Talking about blind squirrels and.
So I mean, Tom, I did what you asked. You know, you can take it up with Christian from here, on all of that. So, but gentlemen, welcome to the show. It's really an honor and a pleasure to have all of you here with me. How's everyone doing tonight?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing really. We're in Miami. Just got in from the TA La Romana. Had a good flight back. It was a great trip, and actually pretty good convention. It was nice to see people in a social atmosphere. You know, just like the PCA itself was also a lot of fun to get together with everybody. And so was the TAA. TAA is always a very relaxed atmosphere, and these people at La Romana really know how to do it right. It's amazing. You look at that what they've done with that property.
Oh, it's amazing. I love that property.
Well relaxed, man. It was a good trip, and I had a chance to go over to Santiago real quick, get some stuff done, and secure more tobacco. So it was productive, man, on all kinds of ways. Plus, I took Alexandra on a trip. We had a good time. And Lazuka turned 50 yesterday, so we celebrated his birthday for everybody.
Oh, that's right. Happy birthday, Tom Lazuka.
Yeah. So I gotta ask Christian, were you and Tom Lazuka like racing in those the golf carts? I can see both you guys like trying to race each other on the golf carts on that property.
But you know, and actually those races, you do end up racing with people. The roads are so long in La Romana. And it's just a luck of the draw. Because sometimes you get really good golf carts, and sometimes you get one that's not so good. I was really pretty hot about mine until I got passed by who the hell was it, man? Anyway, I was passed by by Vartan from Ambassadors over in Scottsdale. I mean, I didn't know the old guy had it in him, man. I think the guy was like a 15-year-old boy racing that thing. He was there with his daughter.
Yeah.
They beat me. I was beating everybody until that point.
It's what and Matt, this is what you do at Casa de Campo. They have these golf carts, and that's what you use to get around. And everyone just wants to race everyone. It's just a natural reaction.
It sounds like a great time. I mean, I would totally be in that.
If you ever get a chance to go to Romano, you got to do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's definitely on my list. You know, I've been wanting to. There's so many places to go. So the list of cigar trips that I need to take versus I want to take. I mean, it's huge. So I'm hoping at some point I'll get down there for that. You know, it's interesting. It's a great time for I guess you guys all to be on here. You know, TA did just happen. You were just down there. Is there anything exciting or noteworthy that happened at TAA this week or this last couple of days that you could share with us firsthand?
Not really, man. I think it was more of a dry run and make sure, almost just to everybody get back in the mood of traveling and seeing each other again. You know, the countries, the more we thought that things would be more normalized, the more complicated they're getting when you travel. You got to fill out a million things in these dumb forms. So, no, man, but newsworthy cigar-wise, nothing much really. It was basically just us and thanking and showing appreciation for our customers. And I think it was the same. Our customers were there. They wanted to meet each other and show their appreciation toward us too, because at the end, this really is a partnership. and we can't live without each other. So it was a good trip, man. It was a very, very good trip.
Well, it's always awesome to hear. Especially last year, not much happened. So to see a lot of things happening this year, it's been really great. I know you mentioned PCA. We were all at PCA together. It was really nice to catch up and see people. And you just went to TAA, and TPE is right around the corner, and then so on and so forth. So it's nice to see these events happening again. But
you know what I'm seeing a bit. I mean, I'm getting way ahead, but you mentioned PCA, you mentioned TAA, and there's one thing I'm noticing is how companies are, I don't know if it's redefining themselves, but how these, we talk about it in the office a lot, how there are like 2 or 3 different types of companies out there. You got the very big corporate types, European companies, right? They make great cigars. Everybody there's not one single bad cigar out there, period. All right, so let's get that out of the way from the beginning. But it's just how business is approached. So you got the smaller family-owned companies, and we're getting more and more separated as far as how we approach our brands and our products than it was before. So that was really interesting to see how it's happening. And you notice how people run their business, their promotions, and their marketing. And the big corporate ones have one idea, and the family companies have a whole different idea. And so, I mean, that's one thing, because I kept thinking about what you said about anything interesting happening at TAA. And I think it's more and more defining how us small companies work as opposed to the larger European types. Not one's better than the other, just different.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's a different approach. It's a different, recipe, I think, for everyone kind of going into any event. Everyone has a different, business plan that they want to attack, and there's a different, social agenda or whatever it is. There's so many different aspects that go into these meetings or shows or trade shows or functions, whatever they are, whatever you want to call them. So, yeah, and it's interesting to see all that unfold and kind of see where it goes. Before we do get too far ahead of ourselves, I do want to see what everyone's smoking tonight. I'll start with Coop, the man to my right here. Coop, what do you got going on?
I got the new CLE signature. This is the TAA version, that 1118. Fantastic. This is fantastic. This is my first time smoking it. Right out of gate, it's a flavor bomb. This thing's amazing. Yeah.
Raul, what are you smoking down there?
I'm smoking a 25th anniversary down to the nub. It's amazing flavor, and today was a night for this type of cigar.
Yep.
And Christian, you're not smoking with us tonight. I think you're probably you're taking the night off after probably a lot of smoking this week.
I landed. I scheduled the trip so I could go watch Christian play. He's playing FIU. He had his fall ball right now. Man, he had a couple of hits. One, he got a monster home run. So, and I was smoking a CLE signature, what Coop is smoking right now, the 1118. So that now becomes the official baseball cigar because I'm very superstitious. So I'm smoking that every day when he's playing.
Nice.
And they're cool at the stadium, and they let us. We even make a special cigar for the team. So when there's fall ball, we're able to smoke watching baseball, which is nothing. There's really nothing like it.
That's beautiful. Like it. Beautiful. I mean, Christian, this wrapper. I mean, whatever that Cameron Seed's doing down in Honduras, it's producing great wrapper, and this is another example of it. This is fantastic.
Thank you, man. Cooper, I know you've been there a couple of times with my father. You've seen the farm. Listen, this is a guy. My father is just at that age. He's always been like that, but now that he'll be 84 in January, he's just more at that age, which he's going to do exactly what he wants to do. He's not going to listen to logic. Nothing's going to deter him from doing what he wants to do. And he's been trying to grow this Cameroon wrapper, I'm telling you, since the 90s. Because Cameroon, too, the seed itself has evolved. And finally, he got this one, and it's awesome. Matter of fact, when he came out last year, I said, Dad, listen, all right, I'm in, man. He goes, yeah, but you got to let me do my cigars first. And I had to sit back for like a year and a half until we could finally get this one out, which is fine, man. And, bro, but the good thing is, the good thing about working with tobacco with my father is that we don't cross paths very much either because he doesn't like full-body cigars very much.
This is much fuller,
right? Yeah, man. And I'm really, really falling in love with this Cameroon. The more I smoke it, the more I like it. It's a whole different taste, and when you blend it with Corojo, man, it's a perfect combination. Yeah. And I didn't think it's funny. when you blend cigars and you bring something new into the mix, how the flavors completely begin to change. And myself, I begin to open my mind and begin to taste. Because look, I love Corojo more than any other tobacco out there. Period. Nothing else. But this has taught me that maybe there is a second type of tobacco that I can like, and not just so focused on the authentic Corojo down there.
Sure.
Yeah, the cigar I'm smoking is probably one of my favorites from the whole Eiroa collection. And it was the first Eiroa cigar that I actually ever had, and that is the First 20 Colorado.
Nice.
And this is the 5x50. And according to our friends at twoguyscigars.com, you can pick this cigar up for $13.59, or you can buy a box for $239.99, and that's at the number 2 guyscigars.com. Now it's
Cigar of the year.
Cigar of the year. That's right. Now it's interesting that I bring this up because back in the day, Christian, it was Two Guys Smoke Shop that tested out Camacho for you in the early days of Camacho.
Yeah, man. One thing I've always liked about Dave is Dave was always willing to experiment. Dave is that guy that he doesn't mind tasting something, testing something new, and giving something different a shot. And Dave gave us an audience, man. And what was so important, first, we got to go back in the time machine. And back then it was the end of the cigar boom, and the cigar boom was really defined by Dominican Republic. It was a lot of Connecticut wrap cigars, medium body. There was no full body cigar back then. So when Camacho Corojo comes out, it was such a new thing and so different for the time. And it was kind of tested because my father himself hated those cigars. He thought they were too strong. And so they were like, listen, man, I'll try them. And we killed it. We did really well. So it was David, Two Guys, that helped us out there. And then it was Mitch from Cigar King, who back then he was in Chicago. He helped us out too. And the guy's name was Larry Wagner. I think he closed the store. It was Cigar Warehouse in Los Angeles. And he closed the store a few years ago, where he was actually one of the guys that really helped me out a lot. Hey, man, you got to box press and make it round, do this, do that. And we went through different transitions with that tobacco because no one knew it. And, they were brown, they were box pressed, and we had 4 colors, light natural, dark natural, and Maduro. We couldn't define the cigar. And it was really revolutionary. And that's also what led us to the fact that very few people knew about this tobacco is what led me to start doing the trips to the factory. And I was able to explain to every single one of our customers that came down there. And I remember from a business point of view, we were getting $40 back for every dollar spent. But it was risky. Dude, back then, you just didn't travel to a cigar factory. And people were very much afraid of traveling to our countries. So we did that, and all started because I kept going I kept going to Cigar Aficionado for them to cover. My father had revived the authentic Corojo seed from Diego Rodriguez. And, bro, they just wouldn't give me the story. I said, screw it. I'm spending $120,000 a year with these people. Let me just change that, and I'll start bringing every customer down here. And that's what worked for us, and that's how we built that brand.
Yeah, and Christian, when you see, like, I've been to the farm, and it's all the little things that you guys do on the farm, from the bear program to the eucalyptus trees and things like. It's just those little things, and I can understand why you guys have so much succeeded with a seed that's been very difficult, obviously, to work with.
Yeah, man. The joke is always that the dirt floors don't have any dirt on them. The tobacco barns. But it was a change of culture. It took a very long time for us to get there. It took a very long time for us to get to that point culturally, because Honduras is a country. You still drive down the highway and you see people throwing plastic bags out the window of the car and stuff like this. So, when you go and you start visiting the culture that we established in the farm, in the sorting rooms, in the factories, it's just a whole different level of. I think it's a whole. I mean, Honduras is behind, obviously, for education and practices many things, but from a business culture, especially a factory type culture, we've been able to keep and maintain this type of culture that works really well and keeps people healthy. We were so far ahead, like when this whole COVID started, that really all we had to do was the spacing in the factory, because we were already doing it. And I'm sorry, in the masks, right? We didn't do masks before. Mm-hmm. But you walk in, you have to go through the bacterial process. You have to go through a special shower. You got to do all these things. Yep. We have our doctors. We have a doctor in the farm. and we also have a doctor in the factory that's always checking people. We were the first to get every single employee vaccinated. I think like 90 something% of the workers got vaccinated. It's if they wanted to get vaccinated, they got vaccinated. But we provided that for them, and they had the choice, but they all chose to do it, and we were the first ones to get everybody vaccinated. So little things like this really make me proud of what we've done.
Yeah.
And I think eventually it shows. You know where it shows the most? When you open up a box of cigars and you see how the cigars are packed, because it's real intricate, man. You got the box, you got the vista, you got the bands, you got the tissue, and you notice the care that our people work and pack those cigars. That I think that's a telltale sign.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, the product speaks for itself, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it's not just the cigar itself and the way it smokes and the way it burns. And the presentation is part of it. And I know there's people out there who are like, wow, presentation, whatever, the box doesn't matter. It's all about the cigar. It's all of it. It's all of it. It really is. It's the tobacco itself. It's the cigar, the construction, the roll, the blend, the complexity, the whole thing. It's the way it's banded. It's the way it's boxed. The presentation. It's not just when you go into a store and you just buy one and light it. It's you go in the store, you see the box on the shelf. It's presented there for you. You buy a box. You take that home. You open the box for the first time. You peel the paper open. The cigars are right there. Maybe there's a ribbon on it. How everyone does it different. Whatever it is. It's when it's all there and it's done right and it looks good and it's not rushed and it's not half-assed. It shows. The quality still went into the work.
Yeah. Also the consistency. Yeah.
100%, consistency.
Man. You go to we even cut the wood the same day we make the boxes. I think the worst thing, and I talk about this with Dave Garofalo. Like David Garofalo is, the guy is a perfectionist on the retail side, but he also loves. He's a fan of cigars and the packaging, and he's a fan of the little things that normally people don't pay attention to.
He's a cigar geek.
Dude, he is, man. You know what? And I don't think he'll ever admit it, but he is. So
he is. He is.
Guy eats, sleeps, and drinks cigars.
He loves it. He loves it.
Bro, and that's why he runs the business that he does, right? His staff loves cigars, everything. He's very passionate about it. But, the one thing that, he might disagree because he's in retail. But the one thing I hate the most about this industry is the fact that we have to sell cigars in open boxes. Listen, I get it, man. It changed in the 90s. We have to do it that way. That's the only way that people can see the cigars. But the essence of the cigar escapes when you open up that box.
Yep.
If you take any of these, like right now you're smoking the Signature and you guys are smoking. The cigars that you guys are all smoking all came in a tissue. If you take that tissue right now and you take a whiff of that tissue right up to your nose, the open part, Coop, take a whiff. You can smell the tobacco
off the table.
You smell the cedar. You smell everything.
Oh, yeah. I got it.
And that's what escapes when the box is open.
Yeah.
It all escapes,
Yep. Yeah.
I'm very much into smells. When I begin to blend a new cigar, it starts in the sorting rooms. When I go to the sorting room, I can smell the tobacco. That's when I start getting the ideas. And I get the ideas, I get the colors, I get the box, I get everything. And sometimes I go to poor Raul. I go, Raul, I'm thinking whatever, yellow. I don't know what I'm thinking, but I'm thinking yellow. Oh, what do you want? I go, I don't know, man. So I need you to come up with something. I'll tell you if the poor guy he starts designing things and it's no. Oh, wait, stop, go back. And it's kind of like that with Raul.
Yeah.
Yeah, Christian, the cigar Matthew's smoking, I love that cigar, and I do buy boxes of that cigar. And I could tell you when you open that box and that first cigar, you're spot on. That's the honest truth. There's something special when you open that, especially your cigars, but especially that one that Matthew's smoking. It just blows me away. That's just so much a big part of the experience. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, and it's sad that it gets lost in stores, but there's no other way to do it, man. I get it.
Yeah.
When did you
buy the box?
When did you?
Buy the box, kid.
I know we talk about, and you've talked about it, whatever. That you guys box the cigars the same day that the wood is cut, and a lot of that has to do with the freshness of that cedar oil and the fresh cut wood coming out. When and how did you come up with that concept?
Because we were rushed for production, man. But we made the first batch, and I go, "Oh shit! Wait a minute, that feels awesome, man." I would love to tell you that a lot of planning was involved. No, man, we just had to make the boxes.
I believe it. I believe it.
So now we dry the boards. By drying the boards means you get them wet.
Yep.
Outside, we do it natural. We don't kiln dry it. So we leave them outside where it rains, and when the sun comes out, it evaporates all the goo that goes inside the wood. So we cut the thinner pieces. So at that point, when the pieces are cutting up, that's when they go right into production, and then we'll close those boxes off. And but yeah, man, that's how that's how it really started.
So it's one of those accidental discoveries.
Yeah, man, like the 3M Post-it note, bro.
Oh yeah, it's
I'll tell you, I'll be a little open and candid with just about everything, bro. That's why Tom gets to pick on me, because I just like that stupid 70. I planned for like 8 or 9 months for the CLE and the blends and the tobacco. I went and bought the tobacco, bro. I'll tell you, man. When I tell you we spent 2 hours on Asylum 13, I'm probably exaggerating. I'm probably just being nice, because if I said 97 minutes, no one will believe me. So we probably spent 2 or 3 hours on that cigar, and look how huge it became. And sometimes you plan things, and some things just happen because they happen.
It's crazy. Especially it's not even just Asylum. Obviously Asylum's been very successful, but as a whole, larger ring gauge cigars are becoming popular. I mean, we've even seen Nick Perdomo bring a large 70 ring gauge cigar back into production. It's becoming more popular now. If you look at what the Europeans smoke, a lot of the Europeans smoke smaller cigars. Yet over here, we're smoking bigger cigars.
Bro, not anymore, man. Europeans went for large ring gauges too. Our second largest market right now is France, and it's a 70x7.
Wow.
Wow. I didn't even know that.
This is a revolutionary thing, man. We weren't the first to come out with a 70. I think JFR, but we were able to come in, and we did it the right price, right product, right blend, right look, right band, right name. Everything just aligned perfectly, and perfectly accidentally. It wasn't. There was no marketing group involved. There was none of that strategic planning. It was just Tom one day say, "Hey man, I'm seeing these are always empty. These people can't supply them. All right, let's go. Let's do it. I don't think it's gonna work, but I'll make 5,000. I think it's a dumb idea, and it worked. And it completely changed the direction of our company altogether.
And that's why Tom told me to tell Christian. I said I was right.
I know, man. You're right. But I love those things. One time we were doing that Nicaragua Cigar Festival, when they asked, "Hey, we were in a panel. I think Pete Johnson was on that panel. I don't know who else was on it." And they go, "Hey, man, do you guys ever make mistakes?" And these guys are all serious. They give their answer. I go, "Bro, I love mistakes. I make mistakes all the time, and I enjoy it so much. Like if you listen, man, and it's not. This is something I used to drive the guys at Davidoff, the Swiss guys, crazy, because we're not master planners. We don't sit there and strategize about how to do a product. We just do it. I get the idea, and that's the one thing that I would have concerns in the company moving forward. Like next generation, how do we develop that part? But there's something very intuitive about when we work on a cigar, and working with somebody like Raul over the years, we begin to develop a rhythm, right? And I have it with my factory manager. We've been working 27 years with Luis, or 25, 26, whatever. I've been with him for 25, 26 years. Raul has only been a couple of years, 3-4 years, but we're developing that rhythm. And once these things click, they click. Same thing with Tom. We have a very nice rhythm with Tom Azuka. We understand each other. He knows now, of course, the prick is having a field day because we can't make enough cigars. So he's like, which I actually like it this way better than me complaining to him all the time because we're not selling enough cigars. So I like the way it's working right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think at the end, that especially if I'm in sync with my factory manager, right? But I think that the customer knows when a cigar is being made for market share purposes, for profit purposes, or for money purposes, or when someone's trying to make a product that they want people to enjoy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think the product's a tattletale, man. I'll tell you.
Yeah, I mean, one of the other big things that has made you stand out is the fact that you've gained this reputation as the Corojo King.
Hell yeah.
In the Corojo tobaccos that you grow down in Honduras, which, right now, Nicaraguan tobacco is really popular. Dominican tobacco is huge. It kind of has been for a long time. And obviously then there's Cuban tobacco, which is, for us in the U.S., is a different thing that's kind of to the left because we don't really dabble with that. But then, the Honduran tobacco comes in and the Eiroas and the Corojo tobacco that you guys grow. And that really does set you guys different. And that's something that your family has been growing for a long time. Do you find, is there any extra challenge working with that Corojo, when you're, you have other cigars, that you guys make with different tobaccos, but with that Corojo tobacco, is it a little bit easier to work with that tobacco? Okay, that's more of like your bread and butter, or is it more difficult to work with that tobacco versus other tobaccos?
No, it's very difficult, man. The Corojo seed is very hard to grow with. The yields are low, and you don't get exactly what you want. The right amount of rain or the wrong amount of rain, anything can turn on you. It's not like, look, I think the best seed out there, which I hate the most, is Corojo 98. Why is it the best seed? Because it's great tobacco, man. That stuff, it grows real well. It's on the business side, it's fantastic. It gives you high yields. Leaves are beautiful. A lot of wrapper yield also. The reason why I hate it is because it's so good that everybody uses it. So you've lost. I can smoke cigars from one of the three countries you mentioned, and to me they all taste almost the same because they're buying wrappers, binders, and fillers all with the same seed. They might be from different suppliers, but it's all the same seed. The Corojo is an exercise that we go through painfully because we do need that, and I know it helps us stand out with our blends, and it's just a different flavor altogether. But that's why tobacco and the cigars you're smoking now on the Eiroa, on the first 20, well, that one has the Victoria tobacco, but the regular Eiroa line, we age the tobacco 4 or 5 years because I want to make sure I have enough cushion should we have a bad crop or a good crop. Now, and that the one Eiroa, which I'm not aging it that much, is in the dark. Yeah, I'm aging that one probably less than 2 years, only because I want that cigar to have a lot of kick to it. And I don't get that many. I don't make that many cigars either. That's one of those things that I make whenever we get a good batch. And if I don't get a good batch, I just don't make it. I take my time. There's no rush. So if you ever see a box of darks in the store, don't buy a cigar. Just buy a whole box. If they had 13 cigars left, just take all 13 cigars. That's one advice. This is when I could tell you that we're making, I don't know, 4.5 million cigars a year. And out of those 4.5 million, the 10,000 or 20,000 that I make of those are the best of the best of the best that I can make. And, and I know a little something about cigars. Those are the ones you get, And now, but, I don't get the darks very often. I don't come up with them very often. But, yeah, the Corojo, listen, I wish it yielded more. I wish we could grow in other countries, but no one wants to grow it because of the blue mold, because of the yields, because of everything. So my father's the only one that really likes to do it. And trust me, I pay that price.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. It's great tobacco, like you said, and I've always enjoyed smoking it. And I feel like there's certain tobaccos that when I smoke, or cigars when I smoke them, and I look at the actual tobaccos, I think of certain people, right? When I have a Corojo cigar, it always gets compared to Eiroa. When I have,
yes,
thank you.
When I have, Nicaraguan sun-grown, I think, like Nick Perdomo. That's where I go. If I have something that's, Dominican, light, creamy, I think Davidoff. It's just those things that you think of. The cigars, a specific flavor profile with a specific tobacco. Your mind, no matter who you smoke, you think, okay, this is like so-and-so, or how is this compared to so-and-so? For me, Corojo has always been Eiroa, because you guys have done it the best, and you arguably have the best reputation with it.
Yeah.
Not that other people don't do it well. They do. People, everyone grows good tobacco. A lot of people grow good tobacco. A lot of great cigars out there. But, the Corojo, I think, is really what makes you guys special. Not that anything else is not good. That's, like, I would say, your crown jewel.
And I need to clarify something. The only original seed, or let me rephrase it, Daniel Rodriguez gave the original seed to only one person, who was my father. Never gave it to anybody else. Right? Now, could somebody else have the authentic seed because they got it? Maybe. I don't know. But the only traceability, the only one you can try is the one that my father got. And what he'll do is he'll grow the original one. And I mean, he doesn't tell many people his secrets. But after like 7, 8, 10 years, if the taste starts, leaving the original flavor, he'll go back to the original bucket that he keeps of the seed, and he'll start all over again. Because the seed over years, it'll start changing.
Right.
And I don't know, and the minerals change, whatever, the properties change. So every so many years, he'll go back to the original batch. Well, he's got, I bet you he could do a brand new crop every year until like the year 2050. And hopefully he's around 30 more years where he can keep doing it. So I don't think that, I do see the other Corojo 99. Dude, the Camacho Corojo became so popular that Cuba came out with Corojo, and the seeds that they were developing, they called it Corojo 99 and Corojo 2006. And unfortunately, Daniel Rodriguez gave me permission to register the trademark, but the USPTO didn't let me do it. I remember even General Cigar came out with Punch Rare Corojo.
Yeah.
And I remember, I complained about it. Daniel Nunez is like, well, listen, it is Sumatra. That Sumatra comes from the original strain of Corojo. I go, bro, so why don't you just call it Sumatra? It's not Corojo. So it just became one of those things. But, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, I used to get a lot more pissed off about it. I don't pay it that much mind anymore because there's nothing I could do. I couldn't protect the trademark. So, but I do hear a lot of people using that term, and it drives me crazy. But it's internal now. I don't verbalize it because I'm not going to gain anything from it.
So another question I have for you is, we've talked to a lot of manufacturers who also grow their own tobaccos and all that too, and a lot of those guys have said to me that the most valuable thing in the whole company, out of all their assets and everything they have, is the seeds. It's not the factory, it's not the farms, it's the seeds themselves. Would you agree with that?
100%. We had one company was buying tobacco from us. What they ended up doing, they ended up stealing our seed guy, and they stole our seeds, which is something real shicey that they did, And but you got to protect your seed. So some guys that really are in the leaf business, what they do, they figure out how to make the seed sterile, and then when we're produced, you got to go back and get the seed from them. And it's a very common practice. They do it with corn, Monsanto, all these companies do it. So, but yeah, you got to protect the seed. See, then put everything that goes with it, right? When you got the calfrisa, which are the curing barns, you never tell anybody how you process and how you start curing your tobacco. You don't tell anybody anything about your fermentation. You don't tell anybody about the water you use. You don't tell anybody anything because you got to keep so many secrets, because, my father some years ago developed those barrels. What the barrels do, it's a big barrel. You've seen it. Drew Estate puts it in all their ads. It's a big drum where they're drying tobacco leaves, right? They spin it around, and what that does is, the hand of tobacco is bunched up, all the leaves are together, and you want to get the ammonia out of it. So normally, before you used to just shake it by hand, but you damage so many leaves. So my father came out with these big drums where they spin, and when the leaf is coming up around, if you can imagine, when it's like this, all the leaves open up, and of course the ammonia escapes. He showed that to one person, and that person shared it with other people. Well, so everybody started copying that technique, but it wasn't that they were copying, because if it's advanced the industry, that's great. It's the fact that they started taking credit for it, which are little things that drive me crazy. And my father laughs at me all the time. Chris, it's not that important. I go, Dad, it's not that it's important or not. Is things should be credited to whoever the source is every time. I don't mind quoting whatever Mark Twain or quoting somebody. Just say, listen, Mark Twain, you say this, right? And you got to quote it. So the techniques are something you also have to protect. The way you bunch cigars, you got to protect. The way you do every little thing you have to protect. Because you got a lot of unscrupulous business people out there. I can probably tell you that in my lifetime, I've been to maybe 4 cigar factories that belong to somebody else. And by invitation where I've been asked to go. Actually, I can remember. It was General Cigar in Dominican Republic before I was in the business. Rolando Reyes invited me to him. Altres did a tour over in one of the TAAs, which I felt uncomfortable about. And I think Pai Placencia, who invited me one time to pick up mulch. When I lived in Danlí, inevitably you end up someplace. But always, I'm always looking up. I don't want to look at anything. I don't want to see anything because I find it so disrespectful. So disrespectful. To
That's
if
a
someone
really
did that to me.
that's a really interesting take, and I don't think anyone's ever
Yeah.
said that here on the show before.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, as much as, as a cigar brand owner and a manufacturer, you're obviously in competition with everyone else in that cigar shop. When you go into a cigar shop and you see Eiroa and Asylum and CLE on the shelf, there's other cigars on that shelf too, and you're in competition with those guys. But
Yeah.
you also have a level of respect for, like, hey, you know what? I have my secret family recipe for how I make my cake, and you have yours. And, that's for you to make, and I have mine to make. I don't need to know how you do yours. Which is very interesting, and like you said, there's a lot of people out there who would love to know what other people do and steal ideas and try to work that into their own thing. For you, it's like, you know what? I want to keep my secrets in, and I don't need yours. Let me do my thing, which is, that's a respectable trait.
Not every
like when we did 70, right? The 70 by 7, the size hadn't blown up yet, right? We come in and the size blows up, and I thought it was going to be a fad, 6 months, 8 months. And back then, I was having issues with the guys at Davidoff, right? We had conflicts. So Davidoff comes out and they knock off the Asylum. I remember when I was at dinner with Lazuka. I want to say we're in Colorado, and they come up with a payback. Oh my God, man! Tom was furious, and I was so happy. That was a turning. And he says, "Why are you so happy?" I go, "Tom, because they just cemented our brand into the industry." Because anytime you come out and you make a product to copy one that's already out there being successful, all you do is make the one that's already successful the standard.
more successful. Yeah.
So everybody compares it to the standard. So, I think even with, last I counted, I think there are 37 other companies that did a 70 by 7. But this Tom 13 still keeps growing.
Mm-hmm.
Because what these people think, oh my God, we're going to take the market share. They don't take the market share. They give us more market share even because people keep comparing. It's just one of those things. Look, Ashton and Davidoff are the kings of Connecticut wrappers. Anybody, even Padron, is such a great brand, such a great family, try to do it, and you can't do it. Those guys are in consumers' eyes, they are simply the best in Connecticut wrappers. That's what no one else tries to compete with them. Is Ashton and Davidoff, period. No one else is going to do it better. And you got different sizes, or different, infused cigars. I mean, Drew Estate, right? Is anybody ever going to even take like 0.5% of their market share? Nobody. You got no shot.
Right. Now, I know Coop has a lot of strong feelings. We talk about this a lot on our other show about people like copying things or stealing ideas, not just simple cigar stuff, even kind of outside the box stuff. Which we talk about all the time. I know one of the biggest things for Coop is when people steal like just marketing ideas and bring it into the cigar industry. And so Coop, I'll let you hit on that if you want to. This is me giving you your soapbox to bash copiers once again.
No, I think and thanks, Matt. And yeah, I think Christian hit it. I just and he talked about a case where there was. It was clearly a shot at you guys, the big payback. And look, I love the Davidoff guys and everything. I love those guys, but I didn't think, it needed to be done. I think they were doing so well on their own, right, that they didn't need to kind of go in that direction there. And like I said, I look at what you guys did with the 70 ring. Like you guys said, you didn't invent it, but man, you made it. That Asylum 13 was as much of an impact brand as any brand in the last decade. It was, it was just that much of an impact. And I think, Chris, that's actually, I probably would have been like Lazuka. I probably would have been the guy who was upset. I got to be completely honest with you. But yeah, I mean, it's, and one thing I've really admired what you've done at Camacho and now at CLE, it's all original. All your ideas are original. These blends are original. There's so much creativity. And I appreciate that as an enthusiast. Yeah, I really do.
Well,
so that's right. I can go crazy on it. I'm not going to.
Even the trips to Honduras, man. We started doing these trips, and all of a sudden, everybody started doing these trips. And I think it helped the industry overall, but it kind of diluted the trips in general. It reminds me of, when during the cigar boom, everybody was importing humidors from Europe, and the pieces were beautiful, $200, $500 pieces. And XYZ comes, they're still in business now, so I won't mention their name. XYZ company calls me in one time and says, hey, we're going to start bringing in humidors for China for $50 a humidor. I go, why would you do that? People want to pay high for high quality stuff. If you do that, you're going to ruin the accessory business and you're going to ruin this and that. Well, obviously they didn't listen, and it happened just, I'm not saying it's because I called it. I didn't call, it was just obvious. They started coming in with these cheaper humidors from China, and people just didn't appreciate the craftsmanship of the product anymore. It's just one of those things that
I've been very vocal on that as well. I don't want to see that craftsmanship go away. It's a big part of what makes us unique.
Yeah.
Look, we're really advancing our box factory. We're building a new box factory now, which that's probably we're gonna do a grand opening in January. So we moved our sales meeting now. We're gonna do it in Honduras, and because I want everybody to see what we've done with the factory, especially our guys. It's been such a tough year getting product here, and so many. And the factory in Honduras has increased like 122, 125% this year. Nicaragua has slowed down for us, but I do want our guys to see exactly what we've done, because I want them to feel comfortable and feel proud, because they are the ones. Each one of our guys is a nail in that building. Each one is one of those bricks, and the stores as well. I wish I could bring the stores. It's just harder to travel now, especially the way we used to travel before. Yeah. But so I want to start building with this new box factory. Part of the goal is for us to start building humidors in Honduras. I want to not give China that much business anymore. I want to see how much we can build ourselves. Listen, man, Honduras is unemployed people to grow. Honduras needs people to work. We can do a lot more. And I think it's very, especially manufacturers that buy their boxes from China now, man. What the hell are you doing? I mean, employ the people you have. I mean, listen, if we don't approach the way we do business with a certain amount of social responsibility and respect for our workers, then what are we doing? If we're just there, thank you, Raul. If it's just about the money, then it's just about the money then, right? But we have to have responsibility toward the people that work for us. I mean, a lot of these people, I remember Raul, we were doing some videos, and you interview a lot of these people, and Raul is a very sensitivo millennial. All right, let's just get that out there.
Oh, wow. Throwing shade, Raul.
There you go. It's been said.
Bro, and he started interviewing, and it happened to him like 3 times. But the last one was this lady that says, I'm so grateful. I get up at 4:30 in the morning, and I really appreciate this job. I get up at 4:30 in the morning to come to work. And I'm trying to see the Raul. He's all watered up. He's all choked up. He goes, Christian, man, I got to take a break, bro. Because I can't believe, every time, because I scream on my guys all the time, especially my salespeople go, bro, come on, man. You can't tell me you saw 2 customers when everybody in Honduras get up at 5 o'clock today to go to work. Yeah. So Raul was like, hey, Christian, I thought that was just something you just used to say. I go, no, Raul, it's real. These people really get up that early. So how could I ever call my day over or call it quits when I know that these people are putting in everything that they have, and they're doing it for our benefit, for everybody's benefit.
Yeah. I think it's very important every time that we go to Honduras as well, that when we see everybody working, you understand what you do. It's not like Christian said, it's not just money. It's just, hey, these guys wake up early. These guys, they don't stand up. They don't have the things that we do. The extra time, the looking at my phone. These guys are working. And Christian always talks about the chaining commands, the lineup that we have to all be in. If something fails in this side, everybody's crippling, So we all keep that discipline. We all try to have that same responsibility. We think of everybody that it's in Honduras as well as it's here in the United States, everywhere. I mean, we have people working for us, and because of them, we're able to produce this amazing packaging, these amazing cigars, and I think responsibility, like Christian is mentioning, it's very important. And consistency. Listen, you guys were talking earlier about the Corojo, and I have a small story. I once tried the CLE Classic, the Eiroa Classic in Honduras back in 2012. And I smoked it. I fell in love with the cigar. And then time went by. I hadn't had that cigar in a while. And it's already 2018. And I sit down with my friends and I see an Eiroa there. And I'm like, you know what? Let me smoke this cigar because I know this cigar. And then the moment I smoke it, it was just the same experience that I had in Honduras, and it has been so many time, you know. So I do believe in this company a lot, and I do believe in all the work that it's put in Honduras, and everybody that works in the company is just fantastic. Yes.
You know, a lot can be said about, you know, when you run a business, no matter what it is, you know, the way you treat your employees, everybody, whether it's, you know, your second in command, whether it's, you know, the guy who cleans the floor, you know, it doesn't matter. You know, you treat them all the same. You treat them all with respect. You treat them all good. You know, you reward them, you know, when they earn it or whatever. And they're gonna give you 110%. I mean, they're gonna give you everything. I mean, think about like any job you ever had where you work for someone who was, you know, just a real douchebag, or the conditions were bad, and it was like, whatever, just do your job. You lose motivation. And you lose motivation, you lose productivity, you lose quality. It's a ripple effect, and then it shows, especially when you have a product, even if it's not cigars, no matter what it is. If you have a product that you manufacture, that you sell, you're in a market, and you know your staff is just lackadaisy, unmotivated. They're not happy. The conditions are poor. You treat them like shit. You don't pay them a fair wage. All right, they're gonna give you what you give them. You know, you treat your staff well. You know, you have that consistency. You know, Raul mentioned that consistency. You know, you have a good staff. You treat them well. They work hard. They have that consistency, and then it shows in your product. And then by the time it gets to the consumer and the customer, you know, they see that and they appreciate that, and then that's why they keep coming back. So, you know, and that's a message that, you know, most of these manufacturers, you know, I get the honor of getting to sit down with and talk to. It's the same message. You know, the cigar industry is real special for that reason too. It's a lot of smaller companies, family-owned companies. Their name is on the box. You know, it's not Apple. It's not Apple Computer. You know what I mean? It's not Sony. You know.
Well, listen,
it's a family business.
We're not quarter to quarter, man. We got to focus. You know, if I look at, and I mean, listen, it sounds horrible that I'm even using the name, but I'm using it in the most positive way possible because this guy is one of my mentors. You look at Carlos Fuente, right? Mm-hmm. I guarantee you, Carlos Fuente sits there, and every single one of his ideas probably has like a 40 or 50-year sunset. Same as me. I mean, we're not quarter to quarter. We're not month to month. Oh shit, what do I need to do? What do I have to do to build hit my number? We're focused on 10, 20, 30 years. How do we build these brands for long term? And that's the one thing I learned about Davidoff. These guys they manage that brand so well. They protect it so well. The quality, everything about it was fascinating. I learned a lot from them. They were very nice and very open about explaining this. And listen, it's obvious. And it's obvious in the way the product is presented. And that's what I was saying earlier. When you open up a cigar box and it's called calidad total, total quality, which means that, you know, the person who packs the cigars is the last person that will see those cigars before the customer sees it on a shelf someplace. So if that person's not happy, they're not going to put a good job. They're not going to put in the right work, right? So that's what I was saying earlier. That when you open up one of our boxes, you see how everything's packed and the bands, everything's at the same level.
Right.
There's the amount of detail. Let me ask, where do you guys live? Where do you live?
I live in Boston. Coop is in
North Carolina.
Indian Trail, North Carolina.
All right. If you ever get the chance, I'm sure you have before, but I want you to go next time you go to an In-N-Out Burger. You're in the West Coast.
Oh boy.
I go every time I go. Listen, I don't eat fast food. I haven't eaten Burger King probably 35 or 20 something years. But when I go, I love to go and see the staff. Bro, I don't know what they do with those kids, man, but they're always smiling. They're always in a good mood.
Yeah, they are.
You never see anybody pissy or complaining. And I sit there and I watch and I research, and you know they don't really share a lot of their information, right? They don't do very many management case studies about them. But I always wonder what the hell they do that these people are so happy. You know what I'm saying? Chick-fil-A is the same thing.
I was just gonna say Chick-fil-A. We have that right here. It's the same thing. They're always happy. They're very efficient, and they keep people moving.
Yeah.
So listen, I don't know, man. All I can tell you is, I make cigars, and I'm really not driven by money or profits or anything like that. I'm driven by what we can do for the people that have been so great to us for so many years. And I'm not just talking about, of course, our employees, but I'm also talking about our customers, our salespeople, anybody and everybody that has to do with us. I want somebody, you know, what I really want from a cigar is someone to light up the cigar and say, oh my God, this is great taste. I don't want to say that's great tasting Corojo. I want to say, man, I wanted to think about what that cigar represents. That cigar represents something more than just that immediate flavor. It's not so myopic. There's a wide angle view of everything, where it came from, what it represents, who it helps, and who will continue to help. And that's really what drives me the most, man. If I had one message for tonight, that's it. You know, we build these things for the long term. We want to do things right, and do right by people that help us all the time, man, for so long.
Extremely well said, Christian. So I want to switch gears really quickly, get more towards the more fun, lighter half of the show. First, we're going to start with our news segment, brought to you by McAuliffe Cigars. McAuliffe Cigars become an ambassador today. If you head over to McAuliffeCigars.com, you can sign up, become an official ambassador, and while you're at it, pick up your McAuliffe tasting passport today. Big news for today, one that's been looming over everyone's heads, more specifically probably you guys as manufacturers. The $96 billion tobacco tax hike removed from the Build Back Better Act. I know that's one and we talked about this with Tom, 2 weeks ago, especially because of Asylum and the larger, ring gauge cigars. This tax had some verbiage in it that, the increase would be on a percentage base. And, when you're talking about a box of 20 cigars that are, 7 by 70, obviously that tax increase is going to be significantly more than a box of 20, 6.5 by 52s. There's a much more weight there. There's a lot more tobacco there. So seeing this go away, at least for now, it was a good thing. I would call it a win. Coop, I'll let you chime in on this. If anything you wanted to say on the matter too. I know you got a story coming out on Cigar Coop on this as well.
Yeah. Look, this is good news. We have, and obviously, PCA's claimed victory pretty quickly, but at the same time, I think what I liked about the communication that went out by PCA today, and I think they did a good job for the most part on that, was they told people, look, this can make its way back in, whether it's this year or probably not this year, but it could make it back this year, but
right.
It could next session of Congress, next time a bill comes out, it is. So they really were advising people to keep the pressure on with this, to make it known. And look, I think they had a good response from this. Obviously, whether it was the petitions, whether it was people in Washington, something got done right here. And I think this is a good day for the industry. Again, we can't rest on our laurels, but good job. I mean, it's a good job here. This is a great way to close out the month of October. Yeah.
No, I know Christian stepped off for a second, but Raul, on the manufacturer side, I know this is definitely going to be somewhat of a. Oh, Christian's back. I mean, this news has to definitely be even if it, like Coop said, even if this is only temporary for now and it finds its way. But for now, I mean, it's got to be a little bit of relief, especially of manufacturers of larger ring gauge cigars, but cigars in general too. 'Cause, I mean, we never want to see tax increases, prices go up. It's something you can't avoid, but ultimately it trickles all the way down to the consumer, and they're the ones with the money in their pocket who are going to cigar shops to spend. And if the prices go up dramatically because of tax, it affects everybody.
Listen, bro, for many years we had seconds. And the way it would work is you had wrappers, right? And the wrappers that weren't pretty enough to go in the expensive cigars, they would go in the seconds. And the seconds will be in bundles. And bundles used to be long filler before. But then the S-chip came in. The S-chip adds almost $1 every single cigar. And that killed us. Plus, you took a company like Camacho that was 12 million cigars a year. That was a $5 million tax from day one. And what makes it even better is the fact that this is for that state children's health insurance program. So I couldn't even put my employees on in the state of Florida. So here we are paying $4.5–5 million a year for that stupid tax. And Florida doesn't even have Florida because we have Florida Kid Care. So we're paying for other people to put people on the program. We never even asked for it. We never took anything from it. So these taxes have just been so unfair. And our industry, because we're so small, we can barely fight. We just don't have enough money. Now we got 3 different groups. We got the PCA, the CRA, the CIA. They agree, and the funny thing is they all agree, but they all can't seem to get along all the time. It's the dumbest thing ever, man. It's the dumbest thing ever. So frustrating. I've been on the CIA board forever, man, since the mid-'90s. But the CRA doesn't get along with CAA, and the PCA doesn't get along with whatever. It's just one of those stupid things. And I'm like, guys, everybody's on the same side. Why can't we all just get along? No, but it just doesn't happen.
It's true.
It's true.
The fact that tax is out, man, is huge for us because, man, how much more pressure can we put on our customers? Retail stores, doesn't matter how fancy they are, they're not huge businesses. When you compare a retail store to, say, I don't know, a Chick-fil-A, right? Like one Chick-fil-A might do $6-7 million a year. Cigar stores do a fraction of that amount. And these guys aren't sophisticated business people. It's a guy that, he put, I don't know, $100,000 or $200,000. He put his life works, his life savings to a business. And he's running a great business. We just don't. It's not a big industry, cigars. And these are the guys that get affected in the end. So I'm glad that tax is out. I heard that the news earlier today also. I was speaking with Craig Williamson. He sent me that message. So we're not in the 1.7 trillion. Hopefully nothing happens, and let's see what happens next year. And what I hate most, I absolutely detest, is the fact that we have become in our industry, we're forced to have to be on the right all the time, only because taxes. We can't. I can't see past that issue. And I wish I could agree with more things and lean more on the other side, but dude, taxes, just policy-wise, right? Not policy-wise. I have to defend my business. I have to defend my employees and my family. So I always have to lean on the right because of taxes. When these guys could do a lot more to help us,
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a huge issue, and and like you said, it's not like it affects everybody, even you, your family, your employees. It's as a whole, and I think the other point that you made that was great was just, I know we all kind of laughed about it, but it's like, why can't we all just be friends? Why is it that such a small industry is yet also so divided? And it's
egos, man. It's all egos and bullshit. It's egos.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing that has to change, and it probably won't change anytime soon. But if that changed, I'm not saying, like a switch, everything would be better, but I think you would see much better strategy, and you see more things get done. Right now it's like with the little bit of manpower we have and the funding that we have, it's like it's all over the place. It all just needs to come together.
It would be a more synergistic use of limited resources that we have.
Right.
I was talking to one of the people from one of the associations at the TAA. I said, man, XYZ association does such a good job at this. Why are you spending more money? All you have to do is align with them. We don't have that much money in the industry. This is such a stupid fight, man.
I've said this too. I mean, and you don't. It's not hard to look to see where these redundant efforts are going on. You're 100% right.
Listen, Coop, I get it, right? CAA, a lot of the big manufacturers there, the machine-made cigars. Sometimes the CAA or those manufacturers don't represent my interests, right?
Right.
I sit on the board because it's tobacco. We fight tobacco taxes. We fight smoking bans. In 99 in the states, right? So 99 out of 100 times, everybody's aligned. Everybody's aligned. And when we're not aligned, so let's sit down and say, okay, what do we agree to disagree on? What do we not agree on? And what can we agree on? And as long as you talk about that, and the example I gave to him was, being married for a long time. After so many years of being married, you finally realize there are things that she's not going to change or things I'm not going to change. There are things that I can live with. There are things that she can live with. And there are things that we absolutely agree on. You know what I mean? So we don't talk about the stuff we'll never agree on. And we kind of fake agree with stuff that I could agree on.
It's funny for those who are listening at home via podcast, who are not watching the video. I feel like I need to do you this service of letting you know that oftentimes when Christian speaks, what you can't see is Raul in the lower right corner just laughing hysterically. Raul, is this how it is at the office, like during the day? Like
absolutely, man.
Does Christian just rattle on and just tickle you guys inside?
Absolutely, man. But it's always fun. You learn a lot. We call it the CLE University because there's always something that we learn there. And listen, he gives the best advice. Sometimes I am like, this can't be. But my teacher has always proven me wrong. So I have super respect for Christian because, it's one of those things that now I just listen. I have to listen because he's proving me so many times that, hey, what I'm telling you is by experience, kid. It's not because I want to make your life impossible. But listen, I sometimes it comes very strong. Sometimes you just have to laugh because it's the truth, man.
So, Raul, let me ask you this question. So, in your experience in your career working with Christian, what's the best, or let me reword that. What's the most important thing that you've learned from Christian as a whole? Just one. If you had to pick one thing, what's the biggest thing you've learned from him?
You know what? He asked me that question in a different way, but he asked me like a week ago, hey, Raul, what's leadership to you? And I was so nervous because I was like, man, I don't want to get this wrong, but I want to make sure that he knows what this represents. But I had something in my heart that I really wanted to say out, and I didn't. But I'm gonna choose this time to actually tell him what I think. I think he's that leadership that he was talking about because in the COVID times, man, you should have seen Christian, man. This guy. It felt like this, man. It felt like he told everybody, hey, guys, all right, listen to this. Nobody's going to lose their job, but everybody's going to work their ass off. But guess what? Everybody's going to win. And that guy pulled the entire team, and we all followed him. And he just went at it by himself and his team, just, made us feel like, yeah, you guys are going to work your ass off, but we're gonna win at the end. And I promise you, I feel like this company kicked everybody's ass during COVID. And this is my opinion. And we worked our asses up. We still work our asses up, and we're still kicking ass. And I think that was Christian telling everybody, let's go. I'm here with you guys. I'm not gonna let you guys down. And that's what I've learned about this guy, that he will not quit and he will protect his own with everything, man. And when I get that, listen, I can only offer my best to him every day.
Wow.
No, thank you. Gracias. Thank you.
Really nice. Really nicely said. No, it was really nice. I don't think I was expecting such a heartfelt, deep answer, but it was good. It was really good,
Yeah.
and I really applaud you on that. That was awesome. So I'm gonna turn it. We're gonna get away from cigars for a minute before we end the show. I'm going to go to our top 3 segment, and it'll be, I'll spoil it for you. It'll be baseball related. Our top 3 segment brought to you by Rim 101 Cigars. More than just a cigar brand, it's a lifestyle. Rim 101 Cigars, Rim 101 Gin, and the Rim 101 Shadow Army. If you know, you know. If you don't, you're not part of the club. This week, our top 3, I'm going to go baseball related. I'm going top 3 favorite baseball players of all time. Now, Coop's probably giggling over there in silence because he loves this topic. If it was top 3 people in Major League Baseball who he hates, number 1 would be Gabe Kapler.
Yes.
That I'm doing that for Terrence Riley. I got to make sure I keep
it's confirmed, and it's confirmed, by the way.
Yeah,
that hatred. Yes.
No, I know it is. I don't even have to ask. I know it is.
Absolutely.
But Christian, top 3 favorite baseball players, past, present. If you had to pick 3.
No, I can tell you the 3 that I've met and gotten to know because Christian plays baseball now.
Right.
And number 1, Mike Lowell. He is one of the nicest guys. He was a neighbor in Bimini, neighbor in Miami. That's one guy I've talked to a few dozen times. Always friendly, always quick with advice, and very low key, man. The other one was El Duque Orlando. A little bit of a little, not the word's not scatterbrain, but he's so in love with baseball that whenever you want to talk about anything else that's not baseball, you just completely lose him. And one that I'm just beginning to get to know because Christian plays baseball with him is Ibanez. Bro,
Raul Ibanez. Oh yeah.
Bro,
Philly. He was on the Phillies.
As a human being, that guy is fantastic. As a father, again, listen, I fell in love with baseball when we did. I played when I was little, but I wasn't that. I didn't play that many years. But we had the the cigar bar at Comerica Park, and with the Tigers, and completely fell in love with it back then. And so I didn't get to see many of these guys play because it was almost toward the end of their careers. But Ibanez is such a good man, good sweet man, and very good to dispense advice also.
Raul, what about you?
Listen, I'm from Mexico, man. Listen, baseball. I'm gonna tell you something funny that happens to me with baseball all the time. So I have a Detroit hat, right? And,
Yeah.
I bought because I really like it. Every time I wear it, somebody just looks at me like, "Are you kidding me?" Everybody has a comment to tell me all the time. I don't follow baseball. I will not know what to tell you, but I can tell you that every time I wear my Detroit hat, someone always have to give me some kind of comment.
Well, that's what we do to Coop every time he goes on social media, and he likes to poke his public jabs at people. A lot of times it's New England athletes.
Yes,
sometimes it's
true.
Gabe Kapler. But all right, so
And he played in Boston.
so he did. He was very good here, and Terrence Riley would back me up on that. So all right, Coop, if you had to give me the top 3 people you like, not let me make sure this is clear, not dislike, the top 3 favorite people you like, who would it be?
And these have to be players, right? We're talking players or anyone in baseball?
Player. Let's go players. We'll keep it simple.
Okay, we'll go players. Okay, because Charlie Manuel would be on the list if it was. Nah. So let's go through. So the first is Hank Aaron. I'm old enough to remember Hank Aaron breaking the Bruce record. So but I really remember Hank Aaron's last 2 years with the Brewers, and it was like a big deal for me to watch him. They used to have a thing called Monday Night Baseball in the 70s. And Hank Aaron was on a lot when he towards the end of his career. So I kind of do remember Hank Aaron as a player, and I love the whole story of how he overcame so much, and he was a great ambassador to the game afterwards. Phillies fan, I got to put Mike Schmidt second, not second, but I'm not really putting more, but Mike Schmidt obviously up there, just the greatest third baseman of my lifetime that I've seen. Huge fan of his growing up, and then I'm gonna kind of go the way Christian went, Mike Piazza, because I spent 4 hours smoking cigars with Mike Piazza in New York, and it was one of the greatest days of my life that I had.
Really?
The guy is so nice, so open, told me so many stories, loves cigars, and it was just a day I'll never forget. And I wasn't a fan of his beforehand. I became a fan of his after meeting him and spending 4 hours with the guy. And he happened to just be in a cigar lounge in New York. So,
hey, Coop, you know who would change your mind also? If you ever hung out with David Ortiz, you would change your mind completely, man.
I have, I like David Ortiz. I do. I mean, when he got shot, I was very, very distraught that happened because he's a good guy. I loved watching him play. I love him as an announcer now. When he does the announcing, I think he's great. He's a lot of fun. So I've never met him. I'd love to meet him.
His kid is real good friends with Julio, my second son. They were going to school together. So he and I started hanging out and smoking cigars, hanging out. And Christian was, I think, in junior high school. When he had that accident, he went to scope out the Dominican training camp where the White Sox train. I think it was. I wanted to say the Whites. I don't remember. No, let me not. It was one of these schools in Dominican because we were going to send D'Angelo and Christian to the same school. The weekend he got shot. I'm not saying I was going to be with him on that trip, but he was scoping out. And of course, I didn't talk to him afterward because the situation got sticky at home. You follow?
Yeah.
So.
No, I know. The night it happened, it was a Sunday night. Bear, who's he's part of the Coop team. He has his own show. He was going on the air, and I believe it was with Terrence Riley that night, who's a New England fan, Boston fan, and minutes before the show, I said, Bear, I don't know if you saw this. And unfortunately, I really shook Bear up. And they, unfortunately, but I said, obviously they talked about the love of Ortiz as well. And I'm so glad everything
really
turned out
good guy,
okay.
man.
Really he is. He's good for the industry as well. Our industry, I think, the fact that he loves cigars. And I've seen interviews with him. He seems like a great guy. He does really seem like a great guy. See, I do like some Boston guys, Matt. Well, David Ortiz is awesome.
I was going to say,
I do like him.
My list is very interesting. And I know there's going to be some people in the comments who are just going to be like, "What? How can you say that?" Because there's one person on this list who plays for a certain New York team. I know. And obviously I'm from Boston. But you have to understand, some of us are fans of teams, and some of us are just fans of the game. My three
Yeah.
would be, I'm going to start with Pedro Martinez, because I remember growing up watching
Love
Pedro
Pedro.
play. I loved Pedro.
He played for the Phillies. He was a Philly his last year.
Yeah,
too,
but
yeah.
he was known for as a Red Sox member. So let's
I understand that.
let's pipe down. All right.
We were honored to have him on the Phillies. We were honored to have him on the Phillies. But I recognize that too. Yes.
I loved watching Pedro. I do remember seeing him as a kid. David Ortiz, I got to have on that list. Being from Boston, huge member of the organization that helped, finally bring us to the top. And these are in no particular order, but the third person, this is the one that's going to shock a lot of people, but I have a lot of good reasons. That would be Derek Jeter. Now, the reason that a Boston fan would like Derek Jeter is, again, I'm a fan of the game. He made the Red Sox-Yankees rivalry in that era fun to watch. Painful sometimes, but it was good baseball. And the one thing I will say about Jeter is that I always liked at least the way he conducted himself. Good player, more respectful, not like A-Rod. I remember when he retired, it was like, yay, finally he's leaving. But it was also like, it was like a part of my childhood, because baseball was a huge part of my life growing up. So, when he retired, it was like a part of my childhood was over. Same with David Ortiz. When those two guys left, it was like, that's it. And that was a lot of years of good baseball. And I was there. I was at the game at Fenway Park when Jeter took his last at bat. I was there. I saw it. And I have to say, even in Boston that day, they were all cheering for him. It didn't matter. It didn't matter what team you liked. They were all cheering for Jeter. There's a respect there.
Yeah, and I think it was the other way around with Ortiz in New York, right? I think the Yankee fans showed a lot of respect for Ortiz. I do believe that happened the other way around as well, which was great to see what those two rivals doing. I think that's that was such a good thing for the game to see that happen. Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's my top three list with it, and I know it's some Boston fans might not be happy with that, but you know what, I picked carefully. But anyway, so that's our top three for the week. We're getting towards the end of the show, kind of running out of time. One thing I did want to hit on before we did wrap up is something new coming out from Asylum this week. The Devil's Night, and
Devil's Night.
And
Devil's Night.
And I'll let you guys talk about that really quickly.
You want to laugh about Devil's Night, which Nook and Tom, Nook's our salesperson in Michigan, kept talking about Devil's Night. Now, listen, I was born in Honduras, man. I went to high school in Georgia, elementary school. So I remember watching the movie The Crow. Yeah. And I'm like, I go, Tom, what the hell is Devil's Night, man? Because all I know, that's when they were burning. He says, man, that's in Detroit. They used to burn houses the day before Halloween. I go, oh, so I finally knew what Devil's Night was all about. But it was until 2015, man. That was 6 years ago.
Yeah, that's how I learned about it when the first one came out. Yeah.
Same here.
Right. I didn't know about it either.
Yeah, I didn't know about that, man, especially not in Dali or Tegucigalpa. We don't know about that crap, man. But listen, the cigars are awesome. These packs, something happens to these cigars when you pack them in cardboard also. I don't know what it is, but something does happen. And, we're having a lot of fun making these different packs because there are a lot of little blends that we come up with that we can't really necessarily make mass production on, but they're blends that we like people to try. We've done several. We've done Friday the 13th, Marta 13 this year. We did Arkham. I don't know if you guys tried the Arkhams. The Arkhams were awesome.
Yep.
We dipped our toes in Dominican.
Yep.
With that one. And now, with these, with the Devil's Night, I think it's going to be, I think people are going to like these cigars a lot. It's unfortunate that they're coming out now this weekend. I wish we would have them ready 2 or 3 weeks ago, but then there's nothing normal about the way things are running today, man.
Yep.
There's just nothing normal. So finally they're here. I think guys are really going to enjoy those cigars. They're 4 packs, 4 or 5 packs, Raul. What are they?
Yeah, they're 5 packs.
They're 5 packs. But I think guys are really going to enjoy those cigars, man. Look for them. A lot of stores pick them up.
Yeah.
If not, just look for them, start asking for them. But
They're
you will
limited,
enjoy them.
guys, so ask for them. Yes, if your store has them, they should have a few. They're always run out. They always run out.
Yeah, that's another thing. Go to your local brick and mortar retailer. Ask them first before you go online. But go to your local brick and mortar retailer and ask them for it. I believe did Two Guys Cigars get that? Did Dave Garofalo get those?
I'm pretty sure he did, man. They grew off his game just about everything.
So you can also
I
find those
think.
at twoguyscigars.com, where you can find all sorts of Eiroa products as well as Asylum 13 cigars. Yeah, no, it's fun watching you guys, do releases and stuff and the crazy stuff you guys come up with. And I think the one I'll end it on here is the one I think most people were talking about this year. It started as a joke. Your 9x90, the Asylum 9.
I can't wait.
So it's fun. It really is. I love that stuff too, and I remember seeing that and then being like, oh, it's actually coming out, and then I got a little sneak peek of that at the trade show. Certain CLE employee.
That weighs the same as 270 by 7s, man.
Oh,
That's
man.
amazing. That is amazing to hear that.
270 by 7s.
Wow.
Just like the 80 by 8 is 260 by 6. I don't know how the math worked out that way, man. But I swear to you, it worked. 80 by 8 is 260 by 6s, and the 90 by 9 is 270 by 7s.
So I have to throw a little bit of heat here, just because I can't contain my excitement. But when we were out there, I asked Raul, I go, hey, so you guys have any of the Asylum 9s here? And he was like, yeah, we got some in display. I'm like, you guys have any samples? He's like, I don't know. I don't think so. And then I circled around another time, and I had this Asylum 9 7x70 come my way very mysteriously and discreetly. And I was like, oh, shit. Yeah, don't tell anyone. I was like, don't worry. I was going to smoke it with Tom, but then I didn't. And then, I don't know, I do have it still. I haven't tried it yet. But
Listen, you know what's funny, man? At this stage, I'm still excited about some of the blends that we're making, and I can't wait for people to try them. The 9's already out there. The Eiroa PCAs are out there. That's exclusive. We made the box. That the box itself is an ashtray. And we didn't make it for the box. I just thought the box was cool. The blend is awesome. We have the Asylum, the PCA coming out probably in a couple weeks. That cigar is incredible. That's become a daily smoker for us. My first cigar in the morning. And also, what's the and dude, the Pandemoniums are coming out awesome also. I don't know if people tried them or not.
I love the Pandemonium.
Yeah, it's a great
love
cigar.
that cigar.
I'm really excited with these cigars, Coop. Yeah, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I like it.
I really like longer cigars too. I don't know what it is, but like I love long. So when the Pandemoniums came out, I was like real excited. I'm like, oh, it's an Asylum, it's long. And I remember I tried that and I was like, oh man, these are great. Yeah. I was so happy with those. Those are awesome. I still have a handful. I always keep a handful on hand for when I'm in the mood for a longer cigar. Those are probably one of my favorites. Those are great.
Yeah. Listen, we used to have a Imperial National Brand bundles. The Imperial was a 52 by 8.5. Was very popular. That's actually what Bobby Cox used to smoke, man. Now you mentioned Bobby Cox. Bobby Cox used to get thrown out so much that he had a little piece in the dugout built out. And when he would get thrown out, he would light a cigar inside the dugout, hiding, and then he would peek to watch the game. So one time when we had the Comerica Park, because the Tigers went to the World Series, there's a lot of superstition in baseball, of course. Yep. So the Braves called me, and we were going to convert part of the Hank Aaron Lounge, what we were trying to do. So he takes me to one of the games. Bobby Cox gets thrown out, and 20 minutes later, I start smelling a cigar. I go, fuck, someone's smoking, man. And so all of a sudden, we go. They have underneath home plate, they have like an office, so it's eye level, right? You're standing up, you're looking at the hitter's ankles. So we're there, and they have an executive office right next to their dugout also. So we go, and now we're smoking a cigar on home plate, but I didn't have a lighter. So one of the guys comes out, gets the lighter. We light up the cigars. Like 5-10 minutes later, Bobby Cox comes out. Give me my goddamn lighter. And he went back. He's so pissed off. So they borrowed, and he had like one of those little shitty little bigs. And that cigar was like the National Brown was like a $2 cigar. So anyway, and then because we added the 60 by 8.5 and the 70 by 8.5 to that one. Yeah. So the cigar is real exciting, man. I'm excited about a lot of cigars. I can't wait for people to try. You know, I really wanted to try the Devil's Night and try the new stuff that we work hard on these things. So I hope you guys enjoy them.
Yeah.
Christian, I want to throw out there, a lot of people are asking for the 70 by 4, man, and a lot of people don't know about this size that we also carry.
Bro,
But
the
on Instagram,
bro, we have the CLE Azabache box press 70 by 4, which doesn't really feel like a 70. That cigar is lights out, man. That's a good cigar. We got in the 70 by 4. I think we have a 60 by 4. Yeah. ADD is, let me remember these sizes, but I know we have a 70. Might be a 69 by 4 and a 60 by 4 on the Azabache. That's a great little cigar. That's under CLE.
You know, you guys talked about the Asylum 9. I could tell you the Asylum 7 is the greatest 7x70 cigar ever made.
Really?
It is unbelievable.
My favorite.
That 7 by if I've given that to people or had people try that cigar who are not 70 ring gauge fans and said that cigar is amazing.
Yeah.
Every one of them. Every one of them. Yeah. Said, wow. Yeah. So it is a fantastic. I'm really excited about the 9s.
Cool. That's the fun thing about these cigars, man, that people can go back and still find the 7s, the 8s, the 9s. And we're going to release the 10th, and then they're going to go back to 9. And this is what makes it fun, you know? Like,
it really does.
Always
it
go
really
back to 1. Yeah.
Yeah. It really does. And like I said, I have a few 7s still around, which is good. And the 1118 was really good too. But that 70, like I said, it's the greatest 70 ring gauge cigar ever made.
70. Yeah, I agree with you.
You guys, man.
I
listen, I want to thank you guys because I'm gonna have to head out in about a minute. Alexander's making faces because dinner's ready.
Oh yeah, no, we're wrapping up right now.
We went out, man. Oh yeah, okay, good guys. Thank you, man. Matt, congratulations. Coop, thank you, man. Nice seeing you.
Yeah, good
Raul,
seeing you as well.
Tomorrow, bro.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow, sir.
Kid.
Yeah, we wanted to thank you guys for coming on. Thank you everyone for watching with us. Next week we have the great Matt Booth returning to the show. So buckle up your seatbelts. It will be a wild ride once again. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere podcasts can be found. We'll see you all next week. Take care.